Hi there, my name's David Edgar. I'm the host of Heart and Hand, the Rangers podcast, and I'm bringing you an immediate post-match reaction to that match today because, as you may know if you follow the pod, I have been moving house the past 2 days, and it's still chaos here. And that meant I couldn't go to the game today, which is really disappointing because obviously I wanted to go and see Rangers at Murrayfield and then tick another one off the box, but couldn't. But given the week that we've had, I didn't see that one coming. I've got to say I didn't see that one coming. And I said on the pod this week, the preview pod, that any one at Tynecastle's a good one, but this one would be particularly good. Well, it really, really was. And I must admit, like I say, I didn't see it. People will say things like, oh, you could write the script for that, the Kenny Miller. No, you couldn't, because generally speaking, what happens when a heavyweight boxer gets, clubbed to the deck, they very rarely rise up and then immediately come back a la Rocky. They generally just delays the inevitable and they get knocked down further. So that was such a great result. More importantly, a great result in adversity and with a really good performance. It's easy to get carried away after a result like that, but clearly Graham Murty's the greatest manager we've ever had and should be immediately installed permanently on a 70-year contract. All joking aside, the team today, shorn of a lot of first-team players, I thought that the attitude was fantastic. They started off tentatively because you're going to be short of confidence. Very rarely when a manager is fired is it because things have been going too well. And I thought you saw that early on. And to lose the goal, after I thought we had been slightly the better side of two initially poor sides, I thought that it was a case of it. Here we go again. And be honest, you thought that too, didn't you? We all did. Got back into it inevitably. The goal from Kenny Miller, wonderful play from Alfredo Morelos. And then the second half performance I just thought was under the circumstances, as close to flawless as we could have asked for. I just thought we were great. We were running at tackles. Jack, and particularly Jason Holt, who I thought was the man of the match for me today, were fantastic. I thought that the fullbacks were terrific, and then a wonderful ball in from Tav. Another great header from Kenny Miller, and we were away. And we never looked like coming back. You were thinking, oh right, this will draw Hearts out, because we've been beaten to the canvas a little bit this week, to continue the boxing metaphors, and there is that thing in the back of your mind that something bad is going to happen, and it didn't. And then of course Josh Windass, of all the players, if Graham Murty can get Josh Windass contributing, then my earlier joke might not be that silly. But splendid goal, and our game management, something we've criticised, was fantastic. We were first every ball. We never gave Hearts a sniff of getting back into the match, and in the end, 3-1 was a very fair result, and in fact, if we'd have got another one, it wouldn't have flattered us. It had been pointed out to me that I moved out of Kilwinning for the first time just after the Orangie Cup final of 2000, and I moved back in yesterday, and then this happens. So technically, the last 17 years are my fault. Apparently, if I'd stayed, it would have just been a continuation of the 90s. So my apologies for that. But as I say, I'm back now, and hopefully things will start to pick up. So where do we go from here? Well, it's a lot easier to move forward now with a wee bit of happiness about the camp. The decision to make Miller captain sparked some controversy, and I'll be honest, my first reaction was probably on the side of that's an odd decision, that's not on. There are two ways to look at it. The first one being that's a deliberate slap in the face to the previous management team. I don't really think Murty's that type of guy. I don't see why he would have done that. The other way of looking at it was Miller's a senior player. The players side with him in the arguments with Pedro, and they feel he was correct, and that it sends out a sign to them. And given the performance, I don't think it's unfair to say that it was probably the latter. As I say, I don't think that Murty strikes me as a vindictive fellow, and I think that it was more just a case of saying to the rest of the team, look, there's Kenny back, you didn't go on with the manager either, but look, it's a clean slate. And they responded, and that was all we could ask from them today, because, like I say, going to Edinburgh to play Hearts, even though it was a different pitch, and it did help us today. If they'd gone 1-0 up at Tynecastle, their fans can make one hell of a racket and give them such a huge lift and such a big a big tailwind behind them that can push them on. And it would have been tough to come back. We saw it under Mark Warburton, and we've seen it plenty of times before, under better managers with better Rangers teams, that Hearts got a goal in front at Tiny, and they're very tough to pull back. So the Murrayfield effect maybe slightly worked for us today. Getting the goal when we did was a really good time. It really helped us back into the match when, going in at half time and the worry amplifies that things aren't going to go well, and then of course popping up when we did with the second and then finishing at the third. We honestly couldn't have scripted it. Tottenham scripts, we couldn't have scripted those goals to come at a better time. And what it does is it buys us breathing space. It buys the board a little bit of time. I don't want another one of these 4 to 6 weeks searches for a manager. It buys them a little bit of time to put what you would hope are the plans they already have, because it was clear, and we spoke about this on the show, and you guys on social media have told us this from weeks and weeks ago, that it was clear a change might need to be made. So a plan should be at least tentatively in place, and it gives the board a few more days without the clamouring storm around them to make a decision. And obviously there's no fear of going forward with Graham Murty. I don't think he's the right man for the job permanently, and I'm sure he probably thinks the same. He's always been very keen to point out he goes back to the under-20s and he's got a job to do there, which he does, and which he's doing well. And the signs of that were today another exceptional performance from young McCrory, and then Barjonas coming on as well, Ryan Hardy towards the end. There are young players that are coming through, and that's obviously his role, and a big role for the club moving forward. But no, a fantastic victory. We needed it after one hell of a week. And to go, as I say, to play Hearts, even not a great Hearts side, let's be honest, but a settled Hearts side, to go and play them away at any time is a tough fixture. And to do it shorn of confidence, just after a manager's been fired, after, let's face it, what appears to have been a circus going on behind the scenes, and shorn of several first-team players and having to play youngsters. At the end of the day, Rangers have started without what at the start of the season would have been considered 3 of our starting back 4. Although I think that Elton John is really putting down a claim for a first-team spot, as is young McCrory. Danny Wilson, wee bit of praise for. I thought Danny Wilson strolled the game today, but I can't praise Jason Holt enough. Just complete buzz bomb, just constant energy. And I thought that was a really, really excellent performance from him, and he set the tone. And the rest of the team followed, Candeas, even Windass, these guys who maybe we don't always applaud for their work rate. Kenny Miller, fantastic, 2 goals, led, did what we needed him to do. No matter what your feelings are on the current situation, if you just look at this game today, then nobody can say he didn't deliver for us. And I thought Alfredo Morelos' work rate today was fantastic. He could do with a goal. You can see that. He could absolutely do with a goal. All strikers, when they're going through a wee barren run, could do with it. You could see him coming off at the end. He was a bit disappointed, and he shouldn't have been, because he was terrific. His work rate was great, and as I say, his assist at a crucial time was brilliant. So moving forward then, as I say, we have a wee bit of time, and we'll see what happens in the manager stakes in the next few days, see who gets pushed up. I've heard a few surprising names. I don't want to spread rumours at the moment, but there's certainly a few names in the frame that came from, well, left field's not the right description, because these are names we know, but you maybe wouldn't have thought they'd been considered. But there's no decision taken at the moment, and Mark Allen is heavily involved in this decision process this time, so that's interesting. Obviously, we don't know who he's going to recommend. In terms of the pod, I am assured that my broadband will be working on Monday. And that means that the pod will be able to be recorded as to its normal schedule, and we'll have that out for you with a fuller breakdown of this match and the events of last week. Obviously, we've had a couple of video discussions on them, but we'll get the podders in and find out a little bit more about what their thoughts in the current situation are, and who the next manager should be. But from me, let's be honest, Rangers daft co-winning. My name's David Edgar. I have a hell of a lot of boxes to unpack, but I'll be able to do so while whistling The Bluebells Are Blue. Thank you very much for listening, and please download the pod on Monday. Bye.